Not much. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Fine.
We have a listener.
Excellent. Cool. Welcome, Pivik.
Yep.
How would you say your username, by the way?
You said it right from my first. I mean, it was an ID in a very old system.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of, set up ages ago. So
Okay.
I use it for most. I mean, everywhere I can use it, I use it.
Yeah, but how would you
Very
say it though?
nice.
What should
And
we call you?
but my name is Peter, so whatever.
Peter. Okay, cool. That's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Hey, so Fix, hey, and is Fixius here?
Hey guys.
What's up, guys?
So I think we
Hello.
have the whole team. So we just do a quick mic check. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Cool.
Hello.
Okay. Yep, Fix is good. And then Peter, I think we were chatting earlier,
Yeah.
so. Okay, why don't we get started? So, welcome guys to another community update. It is the week of January 28th. It is another Monday. That means another community update. So, as always, we're gonna have the team give a brief update of what's going on first, and then we're gonna open the floor up to community questions. So, always, Asphyxia is gonna take the floor first. So, let's go. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, sure. So the main thing that's what's been happening for the last week is we've been wrapping up and getting ready to launch the slide state. So you should expect to see the first iteration of that being launched later before the end of the month. So most likely on the 30th, 31st. And so what that will allow is it will allow users of EOS to receive EOS or other tokens that are allowed in the current infrastructure to be received with only having a public key. So what this means is even if you don't have an EOS account, you'll be able to receive tokens and you'll be able to transfer them out. And
Mm.
so this ties back into some of the things that we're working on in regards to discussions.app. So what it allows for is it allows for anonymous users on the forum to receive tips, which they can later claim to an EOS account. Maybe they get later on, or maybe if an anonymous user earns enough tips, that'll provide enough funding, and then they can just create their own account from that essentially.
Mm-hmm,
So it
mm-hmm.
provides a really good onboarding mechanism for users for the EOS blockchain through discussions .app.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I know I was speaking to Peter a little bit beforehand, and he had a question of,
Yeah, I mean, I was curious how it's going to work. I mean, my understanding is that you would probably create some sort of general account, yes, for all those tips, and then those users who don't have EOS accounts, they would have a sort of claim on this for their own part of tips, yes, something like this.
Yeah, so that's how the initial launch will work. So that's like the 1.0 iteration. It's what we call the proof of authority iteration, because at the end of the day, the only person that approves the exit or the withdrawal is the Novusphere team, as we're the ones operating on that node. But the
Okay.
side state is it goes beyond that. So the next step after that is to transition to a proof of stake system where we have other people running software to validate the exits, and it's not just only the Novusphere team doing that. And then finally, uh, I guess the last iteration you could say, or the last planned iteration after that, is then to tack on anonymity features, because obviously, if you can just receive to a public key and transfer to public keys, this is essentially how Bitcoin works. So you have pseudo anonymity, but you don't have the anonymity quality of something like, say, for
Hmm?
example, Monero, which has stealth addresses, blind transfers, that sort of thing. So that would be like the last phase of like where we're heading with the side state project.
cool. I
The
hope.
So
mechanism, but it's more or less how I imagine this.
yeah, just to be clear, it's like the side state is something separate from the form, but it's being utilized by the form.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that clears up some, because I was a little bit confused as well. The w- the way I understand it is that in the proof of authority there would just be one EOS account, but it sounds like when we transition to proof of stake there'll be multiple EOS accounts running software validating the state, and the exits will be confirmed by those accounts. Is that correct?
So there still technically is only one account that's like holding all the funds, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
nobody has, no single authority has permission to spend any of like the funds like held within that account. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you look at the site chain that recently launched, BOS,
Mm-hmm.
the way that works is when you want to transfer EOS to the BOS chain is you send it to a special contract on the EOS network, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get it
Mm-hmm.
on their chain. And so this works the exact same way. You send your tokens or EOS or whatever to a special contract, and then essentially you would get it in the side state.
Right, right.
So basically, I mean, there would be like, sub accounts created for each user. Yes. That it would work like that.
Yeah.
So it would be another layer over the EOS, let's
Yes,
say,
that's correct.
database, and this layer would keep track of the individual, let's say, positions of users. Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
all the funding would be in one account, but then it would be split by some mechanism into their claim on the account. Yeah.
Yes, and the software that each node operator runs will
Okay.
also like be keeping track of that state.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, cool. I have something in mind, but I completely forgot about it. So anything else do you have to update us on Asphyxia?
In terms of development, no.
Mm-hmm.
I'll assume like you'll cover the roadmap stuff later that we're working on. So I'll leave that up to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, well, since you mentioned it, so we are working on revamping our roadmap. We had a old roadmap that the form was kind of a new project for Novusphere, and for me after I joined the team. So we're kind of like the discussions.app is kind of the interface into the Novusphere ecosystem, if you will. We're still planning, having anonymous transactions on EOS. We still have a peg token, a dollar peg token that's going to come out, a secure private Atmos dollar that's going to be launched soon. But those are, further on after we have finished testing the proof of authority state and then transition to the proof of stake mechanism. So those are our long-term goals. But immediately we're just working on refining the desktop software, and we are going. The next huge update would be the mobile interface. We just have finished. I just finished speaking with CodeBlue. That's gonna get started right now, pretty much. So I'm sure I have more to say, but I kind of forgot. So why don't Fix and Brian, you guys take over for a little bit while I give my brain some time to remember.
Okay. So guys, Paul here. We are still in the process of getting the foundation established. We have sent over some initial information. We're trying to do this in the country of Mauritius, which is about 12-hour time difference for me, and still fairly significant time difference for the rest of the team. So communication delays are actually pretty annoying at this point. But that said, we're also outlining some of the internal structure about how the foundation will run, and that will be part of the public roadmap document that we publish. So how we plan on communicating how the foundation spends funds, how the foundation is bringing in funds, and some of the economics around that. I don't know, Brian, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, you covered the foundation stuff fairly well. There's just one other thing that we're using some of the foundation money for right now, and it's to develop the mobile side of the forum. So we're gonna work with CodeBlue in the near future to develop a better user interface for the mobile side. And I believe Blue can further explain this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's just be honest. The user interface back then wasn't that great. Now it's at least usable. We had a really high uptick in users just a few weeks back, but the problem we're seeing is that users were not staying on the platform. It was kind of they look at what we were sharing, like it was either a page from PixEOS or EOS Cafe, and they kind of just left. So the next focus now is to structure the interface in a way that kind of attracts people and like explores, like, oh, here's the EOS Cafe sub. Let me go check out the PixEOS sub and then see what's going on over there. And in the future, we're going to see a lot of very interesting cross pollinations. Just a sneak peek for those of you who are listening, we're going to partner up with PixEOS to launch a banner contest. This is similar to the banner contest that's going on PixEOS right now, but instead of doing it for PixEOS sub, it's going to be for our sub. So there'll be Atmos tokens and PixEOS tokens being given out for that contest. So you can start to see that we're going to have multiple communities and tokens involved in future like these projects that we do on the website, just to encourage cross-pollination between these different communities. And Crypto Please and Peter asked a question, I don't want to keep them waiting, is Crypto Please asks, how does Novusphere grow beyond the form? And Peter has a similar question, which is Atmos dollar, how does that relate to Atmos? Do you want to take that, Asphyxia?
So I just want to clarify, like when you say Atmos dollar, you're referring to Atmos D?
Yes.
Okay, so to clarify that, it's actually not. It says so. It doesn't stand for Atmos dollar. It just stands for Atmos dark, and so it refers to Atmos in the side state. In the later iterations when anonymity is introduced.
Okay.
And so I want to stress the point here that if you refer to the
It's
GitHub
cloaked Atmos.
Sure. And if you refer to the GitHub document referring to the side state, the nomenclature that gets introduced is basically we just add a D, again standing for dark, to the end of whatever token exists in the side state, just so we have a differentiating term between, whether it's the actual just regular token or whether it's the side state version of the token. And Atmos D isn't special in any particular way than any of the other side state tokens are. So whichever tokens are allowed in the side state, and again, this will boil down to like what validators allow for and what they're willing to accept fees for. Any tokens that move to the side state once we're at that point of anonymity will benefit from those same features of anonymity. So one of the biggest use cases that I personally see for the side state is when it comes to having personal finance on the blockchain. So for example, we see a lot of stablecoins on the blockchain, like the USD coin that recently launched on EOS, the Carbon USD. And if I have an account on EOS and I have, a couple $1,000 and I want to send money to someone, I might not want them knowing the amount of money that I actually have. And there isn't a good way to really go about doing this currently on EOS. And the anonymity aspects of the side state will allow for that.
Mm-hmm. So does that clear things up, Peter? I'm sorry I said dollar. I guess I misspoke there.
I wanted to clarify it because Atmos dollar sounds like Steam dollar,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
To me, so as well. This makes perfect sense, and I think it's an excellent, let's say, product, okay, whatever. It's maybe not the best term, but I think it's really something big for EOS ecosphere.
Mm-hmm.
For the time being, there is no mechanism really to hide your identity in case of making transfers, and I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in having such option available.
Yeah, so the side state, like I said, is a separate project from the forum, but there are aspects of the side state that the forum can benefit from and leverage, especially in terms of the fact that the forum does have an anonymous user feature, and these people obviously don't have EOS accounts, and to use the site state also doesn't require an EOS account, so the two actually work together really well in that regard. Regarding like incentives on the form, so like you brought up Steam Dollar. We are working on revising the tokenomics of the form, so that people who are posting have a system to earn something, of value and that meaning that can be further used on within the form economy. But overall, the projects that we're working on, they incorporate Atmos in different ways, but at the end of the day, each of these projects give back to Atmos holders, or they seek to give back to Atmos holders in some sort of a way.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add that having the anonymity feature on the form is very very useful, and we do see that there has been more anonymous posts on the forum, simply because maybe someone's involved in one of the EOS projects and they don't want to use the account that's the EOS account that's associated with their whatever project's identity they're working on, and they want to say something maybe not the most popular. I also think it's very interesting that we could support those opinions with the anonymously. Let's say I want to donate to someone that doesn't think ECAF exists. I don't even know that's a very popular position, but if let's say you are a member of ECAF and you don't think your organization exists and you want to donate to that, that's something you don't want people to know.
I can see many more use cases for this.
So yeah, so obviously extremely useful. I still can't remember what I was gonna say, but do you guys have anything else to add?
I think that about sums it up for things that are going on my end. Unless anyone has any specific questions, I'm more than happy to help answer or go into more detail about anything.
I was going to say, Jack, maybe you should discuss some of the marketing things that maybe are planned for the immediate future, if you have anything that you want to talk about or kind of seed the conversation with.
Okay, well,
you've been pretty busy with partnerships, so.
Yeah, so I mean, some of these are kind of half baked, so I'm not sure if I should announce them. But definitely the one that's ongoing is the Pix EOS. We recently implemented a feature because Pix EOS has a huge artist community, and they're not the most tech savvy, and that translates to not all of them have Atmos accounts. So we came out with a feature where they could still submit the entries for the banner contest, and we could still give them accounts. Now, obviously, this extends to any other future projects that we do or marketing efforts that we do. Along with that, again, I said we have our banner contest that's coming. That's gonna be announced this Wednesday. There's also another project that I won't name drop, but they're doing something really big and really expensive, and they're not doing it in the best way. So we're gonna be going to help them out with that. So, and yeah, so for the account gifting, if you go set your anonymous ID, and when you hit the save button now, you actually get a local file that you could download, and that's just an easier.
Yeah, I tried it yesterday and it works.
Yeah, so like that's I use the non ID sometimes, and I lose my keys all the time, so it's nice to have it saved just for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Even though there's extra file on my computer. In the future we're gonna implement a way for you to upload keys as well using the same file. So again, just to make your life a little bit easier, so you can keep track of your identities. Oh, and one more thing. So the EOS Cafe pun contest was very successful, and Troy from EOS Cafe was very happy with the results, and he has donated another 50,000 EOS Cafe beans to help keep growing the community. So if you have any more coffee puns or jokes or memes, feel free to post on there, and there'll be some beans to go around.
Very nice.
So yeah, I think that's it for me. Unless if my teammates would want to remind me of anything else, because I tend to forget things.
Nope, I think that's about it.
You
Yes, we
said that
covered everything.
you said that you are working on the user interface. So when
Mhm.
can we see something for the end user, basically? Something which would make the life of something easier.
Yeah, so like I said, we were very focused on the desktop, and I think the desktop is usable now, which is
No, it's usable, but
mhm,
there are certain tricky things like putting the picture in the post and things like
mhm,
that.
mhm.
This is a bit user unfriendly, I would say.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, we
Some
agree.
some some yeah, it requires some knowledge. Yeah, plus I mean, if you want to insert any graphic file, you have to actually upload the file somewhere
Yeah, yeah.
before you can do it. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's another barrier for some people might be.
Yeah, so I agree 100%. But again, we're a very small team and we have very limited
Sure,
resources.
sure.
Hmm.
I mean, okay,
Our
I'm not
approach,
challenging. I'm just
right,
asking
right.
what's the plans are. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the perfect future, we will have a simple editor similar to what Medium has, like a very simple, very minimalistic editor we can embed into the website where users could upload images as well as do some simple text editing. That would be the ideal future.
Yeah, and then regarding the aspect of image hosting and stuff like that, at this point in time, currently we're trying to avoid the issue of needing to host content, and so
Sure.
the obvious reason for that is, when it comes to like hosting an image or a video, there are a lot of legal responsibilities that come along with that in terms of curating the content that actually gets uploaded to your server infrastructure.
Sure, sure. I mean, I understand, but just an idea, okay? I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
in
absolutely agree with you, and I think these are things that should be done and will be done in the future. Specifically in regards to uploading content like images and videos. If we are to, let's say, get a partner in that regard that's willing to work with us, and we're using their infrastructure as opposed to something that we have to personally moderate and curate ourselves, then that feature in particular, would come a lot sooner.
Okay. So, any
Yep.
last words, Peter? Any more questions?
well, I mean, just an idea because I mean, we don't have this file upload feature at the moment in place.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there should be some sort of information for a new user. If you want to upload blah blah blah, you can use maybe this service, other service,
Ah.
whatever.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Something
Yeah,
like
Okay.
yeah,
this.
that's a
I
good
mean,
idea.
I mean, I mean, okay, I'm not technical person, but I am
Right.
using
Right.
this, and I see certain bits and pieces maybe which are not, you know, they are just not there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
somebody new comes to the forum, doesn't quite difficult if the person doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing.
Right. Right. Right.
I use for example, I use Steemit for
Mm-hmm.
the upload of images. Yes,
Right. Right.
I mean, you just open the form upload, then get a link, and then I have a link. Yeah,
That's actually great
and
because
this
I think
and
Steam
the
uses
Steemit
IPFS actually.
and the Steemit pays for it basically. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe we could just sneak tell people to, hey, just go Steam, upload your image there, and
I mean,
then
you have to have a Steam. I mean, they are quite clever because you have to be logged in. You cannot upload a file if you are not logged in.
okay. Well, I think I guess we could
Calendar,
just
yeah,
point people to like Imager or something. I know it's not the
something
best.
like this.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Just
I
give it.
no,
That's
because
it.
yeah, no. I think we were misunderstanding because there was a request from the community to kind of set up our own hosting infrastructure, which again, is something we would love to do. It's just that
But this
again,
is expensive, plus it
yeah,
generates certain responsibility. Yeah? So obviously, as your colleague just said a moment ago, it's much better to have this stuff hosted somewhere else. So you
yeah,
can say,
yeah,
well, sorry guys, I'm not responsible for the hosting service because it's not my hosting service. Yes.
yeah, yeah. That and also again, like you said, it's expensive. And if there is legal challenge, I think when we are a bigger
Yeah.
organization, we'll be able to handle that a little bit better.
Sure.
So yeah, we definitely just add like a tip, like hey, you could go to these sites Yeah, make it easier for just point to like third-party services that they could use to
Sure.
upload their image. Yeah, that's a quick and easy way to get around that. So
I think it would create a added value basically, and it doesn't
Mhm.
cost anything. It's just a few words of explanation provided to the
yeah,
end user.
for sure.
Yeah, I think a little bit of UI UX pointers to, hey, like here's a place you can upload video, here's a place you can upload images, and you can embed them into the forum, and that's that. Because I'm not, right now we haven't made it very easy to use, an IPFS hash, but most, 99.9% of the world doesn't even know what that is. So it's not, but
Mhm.
yeah, if we can kind of make it pointed out for new users that, hey, you can embed an image and you could use these services. I think that's it's definitely good. I think that's a good piece of useful criticism for us in terms of usability.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep, I think that's all for me.
Yeah, thank you
Yep,
guys
that
for
sounds good.
coming out. Thank you guys for listening.
Oh, one more question. There you go. Go ahead.
I'd say really quick is the roadmap is going to be a public document that's kind of fleshed out. So look for
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
Yep. And if you guys have any friends who want to get started with EOS, you guys can look forward to getting free EOS accounts on Novusphere.
Exactly. Thanks for that pitch, Ryan.
Oh, that's an interesting news. So far, I was directing everybody to Murmur,
Oh yeah,
where you were giving away free accounts. I mean, those accounts are very basic because there's very little RAM and just one EOS stacked for, I think, CPU or something like this. But
yeah, you know
they
what?
do work.
Yeah, they do work, but I was using Murmur, and the experience is not great. Like, it's impressive to have an application on on mobile, but man, like it's okay. I'm not gonna talk bad with them. We also support Murmur. If you want to get tip Murmur tokens, you could post it on the Murmur sub. We are a neutral.
Okay.
We have nothing against it. Just saying.
And I
Also
just use
support
the app
Murmur.
to create 2 extra accounts. So that's it.
Yeah, it's not a very good application. Oh God.
Yeah, I think it's not. Yeah, you're right. Plus, I mean, the whole idea for me is a bit alien, to be honest. But
Yeah, but that is for another day. That's for another podcast instead of the community update. So we're gonna round this out. We just gonna say goodbye. So team out.
All right,
All right,
guys.
thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, Peter's not part of the team. Thanks for joining us today, Peter.
Okay, no problem. Very interesting.
I'll catch you all next time.
Okay, cheers. Bye.